And we're live. We are returning live tonight. The live Strange Oddities podcast tonight. Guys, welcome aboard to the Strange Oddities podcast. I haven't done a show in a couple of weeks. Things have been wishy-washy with guests. Unfortunately, had to reschedule a couple of people. It happens, guys. Life happens. I'm sorry. But we're moving right along. We're going with the flow. We're moving forward, one foot in front of the other. That's all we can do. I would come on and be on the show by myself, but I don't know. That's kind of boring to me. It'd be a little silly just talking by myself with you guys. I'd rather have a guest, so it's more entertaining, giving you guys more exciting stuff to listen and watch. I'm not exciting. I hope I am, but anyway, guys, as always, get the boring stuff out of the way. If there's any time that you can't hear us or can't see us, please let us know. Can't do that live. Any technical feedback or please, by all means, give us a shout. Give me a message. We have a chat. If you want to ask us questions during the show, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and, hit that little bell at the top right corner of the page on our YouTube channel and you're subscribed. I have almost 230 subscribers in under 60 episodes, guys. Tonight is episode number 60, and I'm excited because I have a really cool, awesome guest tonight. She's really got an amazing background, and I can't wait to tell everybody about her. So I'm just going to go ahead without further delay. I'm going to get going here with the show because I'm excited about this topic. It's a really interesting topic. There's a lot to learn about with past life regression and hypnotherapy. It's going to get pretty deep as far as the topic goes. So I hope you guys have coffee, tea, whatever floats your boat as far as energy. Get some energy going and get the brains flowing and your brain cells moving. And we're going to learn a lot about hypnotherapy. And we have Miss Kemila Zsange is on our show tonight. And I'm going to tell a little bit about what she does. She's a hypnotherapist. She's a world-renowned hypnotherapist because she travels a lot, and she goes to all different places around the world, and she lectures, and she talks about what she does and, the great therapy that she gets into here. You guys could go to her website, Kemila Zsange. It's KemilaHypnosis.com. I will share that in the chat in a little bit. But she's she's had a purpose ever since she was a little child. Her life's purpose was to experience and explore growing up. Kemila was described by people that know her as insightful. Yet what she sees herself simply as a master of the obvious. In order to find answers in life's questions for many years beginning in 1998, she lived her dream of traveling the world as she would grow homesick to the place that she had never been to. Everywhere she went, it was always a connection with people that was dear to her heart. She sold a lot of travel stories to magazines, and her focus was always on different kinds of people she met on the road, no matter how she started. The tone of writing after exploring all over Asia, Europe, Central, and South America. She found people all over the world, and fundamentally the same, despite different languages, skin color, and foods, and traditions, and customs, in search of the truth. Kemila then started to get more and more interested in exploring the universe within our minds. A quote by Plato can explain what she felt at the time. I am not yet able to know myself, but it seems to her ridiculous when I do not yet know to investigate anything else. So after reading many fascinating books about consciousness, subconsciousness, and superconsciousness mind, she went to see a hypnotherapist for past life regression. The moment that she walked into the office, Kemila heard her voice inside saying, "I can do this." There's a whole big bio here. You guys can visit her website and learn a lot more about Kemila, but I want to go ahead and bring her in before I ramble on about it. So here we go. We have Miss Kemila Zsange on the Strange Oddities podcast. Kemila, It's finally a pleasure to have you on the show tonight. Thank you for coming on to the Strange Oddities podcast.
Thank you for having me, Matt.
Yeah, it's awesome. We have Debbie LaBelle in the chat. Just want to say hello to her real quick. She's the co-producer of Strange Oddities podcast. I actually have the chat working again, which is great. Woohoo! I'm excited about that because we've had some glitches here and there. But Kemila, my God, we have so much to talk about because of your background. It's amazing. I love how the things you do with hypnotherapy and the benefits that it can offer people, like past life regression. Even that in itself can help people in so many different ways. What got you started? Like, can you give us a little insight about your background? What got you on your journey?
Okay. I grew up in China and I
Mhm.
moved to Canada, West Coast, when I was in my 30s. And of course, when you come to this new country and you wouldn't pick a profession that, mostly you use language because English is my second language.
Mhm.
And would not be the choice of using the language to hypnotize other people with their own language. So it's not my choice. But as we say, cliche would say, some of the professions you choose, some professions chose you. I
Right.
felt it's how I signed up before I was even born. But at the time, as I was going through my own daily life, I wouldn't even have that awareness. Just looking back now, I knew, as I know what I'm doing on a daily basis. This is it. This is what I came here for. Like life purpose search is over when I'm doing this. So how it started was like a chain of events that happened, and I didn't necessarily know where it was leading me. But it's like when I went through one thing, it's like, oh, I can do that, as you said in the intro. Uh,
Mhm.
I read some books and then got curious about having a past life regression experience for myself. At the same time, I just met my partner Tim, and I started to feel um, I'm not convinced that I only met you for a month. Like I knew you, but I don't know how I know you, but I feel I know you. So anyway, that kind of all come together. I went for a past life regression experience. Now, the first experience for myself was new for me, and I was very analytical. I'm still very mentally analytical, so I thought it didn't work. I didn't allow myself to experience anything. But the benefit of having that experience, at the moment I walked into her office, I just knew their voices like, "You can do this. You got to do this." So I asked her what her background, and she was an immigrant from Russia and a musician. I said, "Oh, if you can do that, so can I." Anyway, but that was a seed that's planted. And then, and some other event happened. I did this, I did that, which led to anything else. And then I signed up with a course learning how to do this without even thinking I was going to turn that into a profession, because I got into how the subconscious mind works, how I can change my life, changing the subconscious beliefs. So I wanted to learn to change my own life. And just when I was certified, then I lost my job. So everything just worked. I actually just published my second book, Carol's Lives. So that's
Nice.
a journey, like a memoir about my partner Tim and me, how we met each other in this life and in the life of New York. So this is like
Congrat-
us sitting on the beach in Vancouver, overlooking New York in the 20s.
nice.
And so
Congratulations on that.
in this book there's a chapter that's called onto the promised path. So I kind of said more about how I became hypnotherapist. And I feel like I've been doing this for like over 500 years.
I'm sure, and I'm sure you've been bombarded with so many people because, like, people are looking for different ways of combating how to become better people, better souls, better at everything. And some of the therapy that you offer, there's a whole list on your website. I'm just going to read it off real quick of some of the things that you offer to your clients, such as things that it can help depression, anxiety, insomnia, smoking. Let's see what else here: fear and phobias, fear of public speaking, panic attack, writer's block, weight loss. I need that big time. Past life regression session. Um, I mean, that's amazing. I never would have thought that hypnotherapy would. I always used to think like, all right, hypnotherapy, you lay down on a on a couch or on a sit in a chair, and the thing hypnotizes you or whatever
Yeah,
your
it's a
method
pocket
is.
watch. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just sit there, and now you're in a trance, and for me, like I'd be afraid of how I come out of it.
Well, you come out of it the same way you come out of sleep.
Right, right,
So you never get stuck in a sleep, right? Even though sometimes you don't want to get up, but that's not because you're stuck. It's just you don't want to. So
right.
they, yes, there there are so many different applications for hypnotherapy. The way I see it is that uh, all the problems we have in our life are created by the mind.
Yeah.
And what we think and believe and creates what we experience, and that becomes our problem. So if that's the root, then why do I not want to go there to resolve, like what the list you read, emotional, mental, behavioral, all of those things still created by the mind.
Right.
So now, of course, change the mind, then you change your life. But how do I change my mind if I define my mind as that part of myself that can do analytical thinking, rationalization, figuring out? Then it's not enough, because there's a part of us that's more emotional in nature, that learns everything through associations, that has a long-term memory, life memory included. And that part, no, it goes deep. That's why we call that the unconscious mind. Now
Mm,
we cannot change when it's unconscious. So hypnotherapy is a tool, simply a tool that can bridge into that so-called
mm,
unconscious mind. Then we bring that into the conscious awareness, and then we can do something about it. Through my work, for example, if I take a person to the regression, now past life regression is one type of regression. There will be also like age regression, that someone can remember things when they were 5,
mm,
2, or baby, or even in the mother's womb. They still
right.
remember everything we experienced is still stored in that memory. It's we never lose memory. We may lose access to certain memories at certain state of being. And so hypnotherapy creates that state where you can just allow the memory to surface. Like I
Mm,
normally would say, if I file in a cabinet, and maybe at certain kind of time or state I cannot find it, doesn't mean I lost it. It's still somewhere there.
mm-hmm.
So hypnotherapy is that quiet to the upper level of the mind, the thinking, analytical, rational mind becomes like as relaxed as a sleep as a body. So the body almost like in a sleep-like state. That's how I see hypnotherapy state,
Okay.
hypnotic state. The upper mind relaxes with the body, so that another part, the subconscious or the unconscious mind, then starts to surface, and
Mm,
a hypnotherapist communicates with that part. And so for example, past life regression or age regression, my job, when that state is achieved, my job is to ask the right question at the right time.
okay.
And my client's job is not to tell me any stories, just to answer my question. So
Mm-hmm.
when the question is asked, somehow the answer is just there. For some people more visually oriented, some people can
Mm,
hear, some people can sense and feel, can know, most people can see with their eyes closed. So you
wow.
answer by that, just a question answer, then any story will unfold. So that's how we extract the subconscious or the unconscious material through hypnotherapy.
That's so interesting. Now, I would think that you have like a certain way of getting into it before. Not that I want to, have you spoil your all your techniques in front of my live audience because I want them to experience your work on their own. Make an appointment with you, whatever. Whatever the case may be. But um, I'm sure there are steps like right before you put them under, like
Yeah.
using whatever tool that you use.
Yeah.
Is there like a lot of preparation before they go into a study like this?
Yeah, if we can kind of uh, boil down, we can see a lot of preparation. But then when it becomes all just a kind of one flow, when you get into that skill, it's the same as when you learn a dance, right? When you don't know
Mm,
how to learn it, you break down to like salsa dance is like quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow. You count
Yeah.
steps, right?
Right.
But then eventually you will not need to count, because whenever you are still counting a step, you're not dancing. The true dancing is the music and the movement, right? But then we learn from quick, quick, slow. So yes, there are steps, but then when you really become masterful, you just do it. It's just one flow. So yes, we can call that first step like induction. That's what we call. And then when you induce that trance state, then you use deepening. So there are many different inductions, and there are many different deepeners to get into deeper state. And what that means is, when you talk about the pocket watch, hypnotism is associated with that pocket watch, but there's no power in a watch, in a dangling watch, or no mystery there, even though it can be mystified because our mind loves that. What happened is, back in the day, like 19th century, when hypnotism just started in Europe, and James, what his name? The Scottish surgeon coined this name, hypnotism, hypnosis, from Greek, really, hypnos. And so at that time, a lot of doctors start to practice and get excited about that. And back in the day, all men, they had the pocket watch. They didn't have a wristwatch; it was not invented yet.
Right.
And so what they noticed was, if you swing a watch in front of the subject, slightly above the eye level, you ask the subject to just to look at it. What happens is, eventually those muscles, the eyelids, they become so tired, because you have to keep doing it, and you're looking up. And when the eyelids are tired, what happens is that whenever you blink, it just feel harder to open, right? And so a good hypnotist, when they notice that you get tired, you're blinking more frequently, it's hard to open the eyes. So, and your mind goes, when is this going to be over? Oh, it's too much. And then they seize that opportunity, and they give you a quote unquote command: sleep. And so when they say sleep, and your mind goes, oh my God, I don't have to do this again. And so, so you feel better that way. But then for the audience, looks like magical, right? Oh my God, when a hypnotist say that, this person has to do that, kind of like a mind control, right? So there's that kind of dramatic effect, but really just the hypnotist to tie into your already wanting to do that, and you finally you're given the permission. So this is how the first induction demystified. So today we don't use that anymore, knowing the principle of it. We just use many different other ways to do that. Many ways, with relaxation induction, or with confusion induction, with all sorts of other ways in a therapeutic setting.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the command thing, because I always wondered about that. Like, you guys really get like certain commands to make sure that people are able to wake up from their hypnosis state, and how they are able to react to you while they're in that state of mind.
Yeah, when you are in that state, it becomes really more receptive, because the analytical mind is bypassed. So a good hypnotist, for example, in my example, if you use that swinging watch and you say sleep, now when the person goes, oh my God, I don't have to do this again. And now if you do nothing, this person will finally say, what's going on? We'll just come up. We'll come out of it. If a hypnotist wants to keep this person in that state continuously for whatever reason, can be entertainment, can be therapeutic. And so we need to continue to use our language to deepen the state. So that's when we say, oh, that's right, going deeper and deeper and deeper. When I do this, you're going to do that. You take a deep breath. So continue to overload the mind. Overloading is one of the ways to get this person in that state.
That's funny. My wife, she's funny, because she put in the chat, I can't be hypnotized. Actually, that's a great question. Have you ever had anybody that couldn't be hypnotized, or you had maybe some issues getting them in that state?
Well, no. Like, I don't go to the street I don't do that. I know some people do that in my profession, and they call themselves street hypnotists. So I haven't tried to go to the street to talk with a stranger, say, "Hey, look as to hypnotize." Um, I so I may not be able to hypnotize people who have not given me consent.
Mm-hmm.
However, what I do, I sit in my office, people show up, they find me. I don't give cold calls. So when
Right.
they find me, when they come to my office, no, they have to pay for it, right? And
Oh,
so
sure.
it's not really cheap. And
Right.
so they're already kind of committed. Their conscious mind is already giving me the permission to do that. So I only have their subconscious mind to work with. So it's already halfway. They already are there. So that's what so how I do it is therefore everybody can be hypnotized. So your wife says I cannot be hypnotized. I would agree with her. So I would not even work.
Right.
However, when she becomes more curious, when she
Mm,
says, "I wonder how the ways you do that," and
mm,
then through that curiosity is a window that opens. So I will
okay.
be able to hypnotize her. But if she keeps saying, "No, I can never," the door is closed, so there's no way to enter it.
You know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna attend one of your classes and I'm gonna learn, and then I'm gonna hypnotize her.
Right.
Yeah. um, so have you ever had a problem with a client that couldn't wake up, or had trouble getting out of the state?
Yep, occasionally those people, it's not a trouble for them. Actually,
Mm,
we call that a stale state. It's very deep that they go into almost like a euphoric state. And in that state, they feel at peace, at one with everything, I think. So they still hear everything, they still know what's going on, and they are not bothered by any of that. So they
mm,
get enjoy that state and like twice or three times, and you can tell on their face they're just like, I don't really care what you say anymore. So I would say, there's a fire, you got to come out.
oh,
And so, but they are so perceptive, it's almost like their awareness is bigger than the room or than the building, and so they know you are lying. And so it's like, no, you're not going to get me out just by saying that. So the only way I can get these people out would be if you continue. If I'm going to count from 1 to 5. If I count to 5, you don't open your eyes, you are not never going to be hypnotized by me again.
mm.
And that's how they'll get. Okay, sure, fine. Or I say, I'm just charging by minutes now.
Right, right, right.
So, but
Yeah.
that's kind of state. They know what you say. They understand, but they just don't want to leave that state. Like some people, I heard when they have like near death experience, and they
Okay.
were given a chance in that light. That
Mm.
if they want to come back, some people actually don't want to come back.
Oh
Right?
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of
could
same
see that
feeling.
though, yeah, because depending on their experience, like if it's so picturesque and beautiful, and depending if you're seeing loved ones you haven't seen in like forever, and you know, eh, the warmth and the feelings that they experience,
It's much lighter. Yeah, where
right,
would we have go back to the earth? So heavy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I could see that. I could definitely see that happening. I'd probably be one of those people. So, but
Yeah, so rather than that, it's not a stuck feeling, it's a choice. I'm hypnotic state junkie myself. I love that state. I don't
mhm,
do any drugs, anything.
right,
I tell people I have hypnosis. I don't need anything else. It's more
yeah.
organic.
Yeah. Now, does your type of therapy, whether it's past life regression or hypnotherapy, um, does it take several visits? Like, is there times where they have to keep up with visiting you more than once to combat whatever issues that they came to you for?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Mostly actually, because it has taken their lifetime to develop an issue, right? And
Right.
so normally it takes more than one sessions. But
Mm-hmm.
however, some people, depending on where they are, how they work with themselves, if they only need a gentle little push to get effect, like on my Google review, I got a lot of reviews, and some of the reviewers actually they say, wow, what a effect, a life-changing effect. Some of those people actually only had one session.
Mm,
No,
wow.
I'm happy to receive all the credit from them, I know
Hmm.
they have done all the work already leading up to that. So they just need a like gentle little, last straw of the camel's back kind of thing. They need a gentle little push, and then they have all the effect. So they give me the credit, but I think they in the States they're already on their journey working on some of the things. Just gentle little push. Most
Oh,
people they do need more than one sessions.
yeah.
And if it's past life wise, a lot of people I work with, if they target on some kind of pattern, for example, emotional pattern,
Right.
behavior pattern, or severe fear like phobia,
Hmm.
they may need 2 or 3 sessions. Yet a lot of people I work with, they are very curious. They just want to have an experience, so they only need one. Depends where
Yeah.
people are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was gonna say I would think it would take, yeah, like you said, depending on how old they are and how much they've endured throughout their lives, how much traumatic stress happened in their life that they're going for that reason. It would definitely take a lot more than just 1 or 2 visits. But yeah, it's one thing I want to bring up is with what I do, being a paranormal researcher and investigator, when we dive into like family homes and stuff, it can get a little tricky because of the psychological, psychiatric kind of things that we get with our families. There could be abuse situations. There could be traumatic stress and different types of things that these families are experiencing, and they're manifesting these energies that are creating what they think is paranormal, but it may not be because it's all in their mind. I think like hypnotherapy and past life regression could be a good tool or a good way of helping them with these situations, other than regular therapy. There could be another avenue they could try. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things, other things I do, besides everything you just said, I actually do, it's on my website too. I call that the spirit release therapy.
Mm, right,
So it's very close to what you do. You do it in the environment, like a home or a building. And some people believe they're possessed, for example. So the
right.
spirit is in their own auric field or energy field. And they want to use hypnotherapy to release them, to send them away. So, kind of very similar to what you do. So my way as a trained hypnotherapist, I don't do anything onto any people. I don't go and grab hold of the spirit and send to the light. I
Hmm.
work through my clients' psyche or their psychology. I still work kind with their subconscious mind. So turn them into like a reader for themselves, as if when the conscious mind is very quiet, still, like the surface level of the lake
Mm,
becomes still, it's easier to see what's underneath, right?
mm,
And so through that process, I would have their subconscious mind to tell me what's going on, like a scan their own energy field. And sometimes actually I would through their vocal cord speak with the spirit, if I may, directly.
right.
uh, so that's very similar, but through my work. Now, is that a real entity, like disembodied entity,
Hmm.
discarnated entity, or is it demonic entity, or is it part of their own creation? Who knows?
Right,
I don't know. I work with my clients' belief systems. Eh, I I feel everything is energy, right? Energy vibrates. And
right.
so at whatever level we vibrate, we get to have the match. And if I want to be better, I can vibrate myself into different level. So
Mm,
that which is still there but doesn't in my level anymore.
right.
So I work intuitively. I don't have my own set belief system per se to work with it, but I just work through my client's own belief
Sure.
system.
Yeah, you're working through them, so it's all
Yeah.
about them and their belief. And right, I get
And
that.
the part of the work I feel is not just to take the entity out of their field, it's to empower them.
Sure.
Like
So that,
like coronavirus is everywhere, but why don't I get it? Does someone else get it? Because maybe my
right.
immune system is better or somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that because of the pandemic situation, have you become more busier in your line of work? I know we have, because let's face it, like there's a lot of negative energy going on out there right now with the terrible things going on with the virus, and now we have the whole Ukraine thing going on, and God bless those people. I'm so like feel so like heartbroken for them, and what they're going through. So I can't imagine like how busy you guys might get, like with people that experience all this negative energy and all these negative things. I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls.
Yeah, it's pandemic. When it started, it's like everybody canceled their appointment, right? And
Yeah,
suddenly, like, you don't have anyone for 2 or 3 months. Then after that, the wave comes back. Yeah,
yeah.
I have been busy for a while. Yeah.
Right. So are you in your office more now because of the pandemic, or are you like, because on your website it says you're trying to focus more on your writings, are you still doing both, or what do you like doing more
Yeah,
of?
I'm still deciding. I have my office in downtown Vancouver, but I'm thinking about maybe. But I still have a 10 months to decide. I have like 40% online. Not part of the reason is the pandemic. Part of the reason a lot of things I do, people can't find a local hypnotherapist to do that because I'm
Right.
very daring, so I
Yeah.
do everything. And so yeah, I'm thinking because I'm writing, publishing my third book, and the fourth book is already in my head. So I will see. I will see. But this year I'm still in my office a lot.
Okay. You don't do virtual appointments? Is it
I
kind of
do. That's
hard?
what I say. 40% are on Zoom these days.
Oh, okay. So you can still do that kind of work virtually?
Yeah, as long as they have the quiet place, they have wear headset and undisturbed moment. There's a benefit actually. They see me on the screen, so I don't do phone sessions. I need to see the person, and that
Mm,
gives me a lot of information. And my voice can be closer to them, and
hmm.
we don't need to wear mask. So there's more benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're probably a little more comfortable that way anyway.
Yeah,
So
and also as you said earlier, I love traveling, so that's also part of like I can work from anywhere,
sure.
around.
Yeah. What kind of schooling, because I'm sure you probably get asked this a lot, if somebody would want to learn about what you do and they want to become a hypnotherapist, what kind of direction would you suggest for them to go, and like if they're going to college or university, there type of degrees or anything that they can get into?
No, hypnotherapy. I don't think you need to go to a formal school for degree. A lot of hypnotherapy schools they stand alone. They
Okay.
certify you, so it's more like a certified rather than diploma. I think I got a diploma, but again, it's standing alone school. Every local city, I believe, you can find one. There are also a lot of online schools. Uh, this profession is mostly practice, really.
Okay.
It's not a matter of how you learn. I
Yeah.
learned for 2 years counseling hypnotherapy, but most of what I learned is after I was graduated, right? And it just learned the basics. So it's the inner passion. I think is some people are drawn to this. When you feel you're drawn to this, you're already probably you did some past life in this line of work. Now,
Right.
my school I went to, my instructor didn't even believe past lives. So you
Oh,
can
wow.
imagine he didn't teach us, even though in the curriculum you need to cover a little bit. So he was
Mhm.
very shy on this. He had 2 hours to cover it, a few slides, and he showed us a video. And so he didn't have to do it. So for him, it's like I covered it. But then
Yeah.
I found I have learned nothing how to do past life. And he didn't he even said to us, we never do this on purpose.
Mm.
If it spontaneously happens, which can happen in our session, when you're in the subconscious mind, people can go into a 18th century England or somehow. And
Wow.
so when it spontaneous happens, deal with it, but we don't do it on purpose.
Mm.
So I didn't have a proper training on past life. Everything I learned is through absolutely my own practice and try and error and my own past life training. After like 4 years, I graduated, which I was still kind of relatively new in this profession. I knew I was going to teach.
Mm.
I stuck at being a student. If I ever go back to school, I said I have to teach.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I I wrote a book of teaching people how to do past life regression
yep,
for hypnotherapists. So I don't know what enabled it, but even on my introduction, I said I'm self-taught. So if
yeah,
you want to read it or not, it's up to you. But it's a very well written book according to Amazon reviews. So it's a passion. It's an inner knowing. It's like in my life, I got nothing else to do but this one, and I can like you ask me if what I'm gonna do after I retire. I say I will
right,
hypnotize people.
right.
I
How,
retire.
how long was it that where you said to yourself, I'm now pretty comfortable with doing my own practice and getting my own clients and, building your clientele for your own office, and like at what stage of your life did you say you were comfortable enough to be on your own, and that
The
you had
answer is the answer is never. You are never comfortable, and that's why don't wait.
right.
From day one, I
Mm-hmm.
started, and that was the best decision. I
Mm.
remember in my hypnotherapy school, we had like 13 people.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, probably to this day, I'm the only one who's doing it full time. A lot of my colleagues are so humble. They keep telling themselves, I just needed one more training. I need to go through one more training. So they're piling up all of the certificates, and they're still not doing it because they're never ready.
Right.
And since I'm never ready, I'm just going to do it from day one. So what happened to me looking back was, you know, one of the best things that I lost my job the moment I was graduate. So I got nothing else to do, but I took this as a full time. So from day one, I treated it as a full time.
Mm.
And this never ending learning process. You're never ready. Since you're never ready, you might just learn as you do.
Right.
So I think I have a habit of saying yes to everything and figure out how to do it later.
Yeah. I think we all have a habit of that.
Yeah, like your podcast too, right? Like how
Yeah.
you started.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No, I can totally attest to that. So, but yeah, what my next question is, I think this is a good question. So, since you do spiritual releasement, uh, as part of your therapy, do you practice any kind of meditation, or do you ground yourself? Because I can't imagine the type of amount of energy that you come across with all the different clients you get, and God knows what their energy is like, and then you gotta have to, like, clear your own aura every day.
Yeah, I don't have anything formal like I do
Uh-huh.
or ritual or practice, but meditation. I don't necessarily take life to meditation like a set 2 hours of meditation or 30 minutes. Uh, I I take meditation to life. Maybe like every moment is connecting with myself.
Hmm.
Uh, I find, for example, sometimes a client comes to my office before this person even starts to talk, you can feel like energy is all over the place. I can
Yeah,
feel that. And I
yeah.
start to feel anxious. And when I feel anxious, I now learned to know that it's not mine, actually.
Mm,
And so when I know it's not mine, I don't protect myself because how can I help if I
mm,
all about me? But when
mhm,
I feel this anxiety in that moment, all I need to do is to find my way to work with it. It's a feeling I have, even though mentally I know it's not mine, but it's in a room. And so as I allow myself to work with it rather than against it, I I can, I don't know the language. It's the awareness or can transform it.
mhm,
And so when I find myself allowing the energy to come and to calm it down, to transform it, somehow it almost I become a mirror for my client to feel, oh, that's allowed. I can feel anxious. It's not bad. I'm not
right,
judging it anymore, right? It's allowed. And she's as I mirror back to this person, and this person automatically feels better. Like yesterday, this young man, I said, I feel I feel accepted by you. So that's nice.
Right.
Like I never even say that. I
Yeah.
accept you, right? And
Right.
so it's like they start to feel calmer. So I don't judge energy. Any energy is not good or bad. It's whatever comes my way. I let it come. I don't resist it.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily smudge my room per se, but
Mm.
I guess I'm a sage myself. So uh, I don't do anything to protect myself. I mean, sometimes protection itself invites attack.
Mm.
I just let myself show up and be
Okay.
there, and whatever comes my way, I stay present.
Mm.
I think that there is that warrior spirit in me. I'm sure. I think a long time ago I wrote a blog post finding the warrior within. So I
Mm.
just how to be that peaceful warrior, to be courageous enough to show up, to find my way, to deal with what I need to deal with in that moment.
Right. Right. No, I totally get that. Um, has there already been a moment where, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but like for us, sometimes we run into situations where some homes where we're not comfortable like with being able to help somebody per se. So we may like refer them to somebody who's got like say better knowledge or better experience than we do. So like if I know somebody that can help them better than we can, there are times where I don't like I hate turning people down for help. Like I don't ever want to turn away somebody that needs help, right? But there's sometimes situations where you can just like know it may be a bad situation for you. So I tend to turn those away and give them to somebody who I know can be in a better place to help them rather than, harm us or put us in harm's way. Are there times where you come across that same line of thing or
Yeah, from my work, as long as this person wants to take over the power, I can work with this person.
mm,
And again, it's not about me dealing with the entities and me empowering you.
yeah.
And so this when this person still knows he can take power over, that's my ideal client. But
Mm,
some clients do like to be in that kind of victim mindset, and so they want me to do it unto them. And I feel powerless. I cannot do anything unto you. If I can have power to control your mind, I'm going to work with Putin, disempower him, right?
right, right,
But it's not that we were all individually empowered. So if this person feels like I don't need to do anything, you do it unto me, I will just say clearly I don't have that power, and we are not a very perfect match. And I will make the choice for them to do it. I say we may not be a good match. With that said, do you still want to work with me? Because if you want to still work with me,
right,
you needed to take over your power. That's the only way I can function. Otherwise, I'm not able to function. Would you still like to work with me? So I still turn them into their decision to make. And
nice.
so they would say, maybe not if you have anyone to refer to. So I have my own kind of referral list. So I would kind of see if anyone can match. I actually refer to some of my clients to people like yourself who
Right.
does kind of paranormal investigation, more environmentally. I've
Yeah,
done that too. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to turn people away. It's just that, I feel like sometimes, other people can help them more than I can, because I the way I look at it is everybody could offer something different to help people and they're better at it than we are. So if they're better at it than I am, then the more power, for them to help that person. And that's the way I see it. And it's not
Yeah.
a matter of like, like not helping them. I am still helping them, but I'm just giving them to somebody who can, help them better than I can.
Absolutely, because we're on a different journey, right? And a
Yeah,
different place, they need a different type of helps. So,
yeah,
like I don't do like a hypnobirthing, for example. So, but if you found me, I said maybe I know someone who can do it more systematically with you.
right, right. Yeah, no, I get that totally. So, Wow. I know this is a heavy topic for some of my viewers and listeners, but I hope everybody's staying with us. Just for those who are tuning in late, we're with Miss Kemila Zhang. Her website, I want to share your website with everybody, and it's KemilaHypnosis.com, correct?
Yes, Kemila, yeah,
Right.
hypnosis.com.
Yep, and I'm gonna put that on our Facebook page and make sure everybody can get your information, because everything's on there. It's very informative about her background and what she does, how to make appointments. Um, Now you have a couple of books. There's Past Life Regression, which we mentioned a little bit earlier, which is more like a manual to gear people for guidance of what past life regression is. And then Carol's
Carol's
Live.
Life.
Right. Two Souls Journey in Two Cities and Beyond. They're available on Amazon. Is there anywhere else they can get them other than Amazon or?
My website,
Okay.
and with all the online book places, like
Right.
I don't even know how many of them, like Apple Books, for
Yeah.
example.
There's
Uh,
tons.
Anywhere you can find the books, you can find those books.
Yeah.
I'm publishing maybe in about 2 or 3 months, my third book, which is Many Blessings Will Come. So that's kind of like 21 case studies, case
Right.
histories, storytelling of
Mm,
mostly past life regression.
nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you come across anybody? Not that you have to say who per se, but um, like reincarnation sometimes is a theoretical idea, right? Reincarnation, depending on what people believe or not believe. Past life regression, I think, sometimes could come across somebody who think they could be like a reincarnation of somebody from a another life or another person. Have you ever come across anybody like that?
That's what it is. Like it's always like and people would in a trance state would speak with me as if this person is another person. Like
Right.
sometimes even shift to gender, right? And
Hmm.
so a man can speak as, "Oh, my name is Jessica," right?
Right. Right.
And yeah, so occasionally I even come across people who historically we know. So I've met Joan of Arc. I've met Audrey Hepburn.
Wow.
Met I've met Thomas Jefferson. Uh,
Wow.
those entities who would be, identify themselves as that entity in their past life.
That, that's is that the most famous that you've possibly ran into?
Yeah, yeah, those were the most famous. And then was one I think even Queen Elizabeth first. Yeah,
Wow.
those are the ones I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, any UFO abductees?
A lot. I was going back to mention that because I saw it on your intro.
Right.
Yes, a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
UFO. A lot of people. They were haunted by the memory, pieces of memory, like flashbacks, and they couldn't understand why. And so some of them they seek out wanting to piece them together.
Hmm.
And at one point in their life, because a lot of people had those childhood experiences, and then they forget about it. They move on with their life, normal life, and then at one point they start to have some more sighting, or somehow it just triggers memory. They wanted to to draw their memories out, and I have had yeah, a lot of those UFO, like they would go into a ship
Oh.
and would tell me what's going on, describe that moment to me. I even had a past life,
Mm.
a caveman. So this is going to be part of my third book. I call it
Wow.
Ancient Alien Abduction. So triple A, Ancient Alien Abduction.
Mm.
So this woman, she's a flight attendant, and she came to see me for past life regression, and
Hmm.
she went into a caveman's lifetime. So
Wow.
it's like a very primitive life where you wear animal skin on your waist, and he as that life, like God knows prehistory, and he was abducted by a ship,
Wow.
and so he in a regression he told me in a room with all the machine and those beings, three fingers, those beings without nails, were
Wow.
were working on a screen, and then after that he developed this ability to draw um, those beings in the caves. Look, today scientists we found those strange drawings in the caves all over the world.
Wow. That's crazy.
And so it's kind of connected. Even
Yeah.
sometimes I think if scientists are interested in this kind of regression, they would find a lot of information
Yeah, sure.
more
Why not?
easily.
Yeah.
Mm,
I wouldn't doubt it. Like how many things that we can discover because of that, you know?
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't agree with that more. Um so what can people expect? Because we're getting to the bottom of the show. But I want to make sure I catch all the questions I've been wanting to ask you tonight. Um, what can people expect when they come to your office? What should they be prepared for if they want to make an appointment with you?
They need to have a purpose. Why do they want it? They want to know where they are, where they want to go, and I come along to go with them. They there's a normally there's a deeper uh, thing that they want. People don't think about hypnotherapy first. They always it's like a last resort for a lot of things.
Right.
But it's very rewarding in a way. It's organic, no prescription, no potion, no nothing. It's your own mind, the deeper mind that we are discovering some of the things. So getting more connected with themselves, getting more aligned is always a side effect of doing this
Mm,
line of work. You trust yourself a little more. Subconscious mind holds so many things for us. Why would we invest anything outside if we haven't discovered more here?
yeah.
As I normally I say to people, the word universe starts with the sound of you.
Yeah. It starts here and it starts here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's to prepare. It's normally I would ask them to set general intention, rest
Mm,
well, and that's pretty much it. So to have enough questions, you are burning questions, but to give their subconscious mind a chance to come up with the answers. That's and I facilitated the whole
right.
process.
Right. What would you say with your experiences with what you do you find that what's block how do I put this question? Um is fear yeah, I'm very animated when I talk, so my hands are all over the place.
That's good. It's
um
very nice.
yeah. Um when how do I want to question this the right way. So fear, would you say fear is more likely the enemy of the mind per se, and what's blocking most of us from accessing what we need to access, or is it more of a memory thing?
Can be both. Can be fear. Can be the conscious mind. In the conscious mind, because of the definitions and the beliefs that are limiting us.
Okay.
So, like one of the greatest sleep prophecy, Edgar Casey, for example,
Hmm.
his conscious mind was very limited because he didn't believe whatever came out of his sleep talk.
Okay.
So, it could be the conscious mind, so we block it because the conscious mind is like, oh, no, that's not real.
Mm.
Or the fear can come from the subconscious mind, the deeper mind, or the deeper inner child mind, and that feels. Uh, I hold all the history, the trauma. Like for example, if I had a childhood trauma,
Mm.
and I don't think the conscious mind is ready to deal with it, so
Mm.
that subconscious mind can hold that blockage. So it
Right.
can be both ways. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know
Uh,
if I answered your question. Or
Yeah. No, you did. No, that was perfect. Brilliant. No, that's pretty much we got 5 minutes left. Where can people other than your website follow you? You on Facebook, social media? wherever they can get information about upcoming events. If you want to share any events coming up that you have, that you're lecturing, speaking, any engagements, stuff like that, you have the floor.
Yeah, so no, most of my events are local here in Vancouver, in Canada.
Okay.
I do have like a YouTube channel, and I travel the world. I would normally take a question and answer on a camera. So I call that hypnosis Q&A from all over the world.
Nice.
And a lot of questions, a lot of past life regression questions are answered there. So if people can check out, just go to YouTube, find my name, Kemila Zsange, and they will find it. And rather than that, my website, I have two. One is CamilaHypnosis.com, another is carolslives.com. So it's more my book writing project. I blog there too. And yeah, that's it. Oh, by the way, so you can do the UFO regression, past life regression, and people even can have like a future life experience, because
Oh,
time
wow.
is an interesting idea. We can
Wow.
if we can access past, we can access future. Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. That's awesome. Um, well, I hope everybody enjoyed our awesome guest tonight. Before we end the show, if you guys have any last minute questions, feel free, go ahead. Um, I've been, me and her have been going on and on all night. I totally forgot to ask if anybody had questions. But if you have questions, now's the time before we end the show. But I hope I was a great host for you, Kemila. I hope you had a lot of fun being a guest on the Strange Oddities podcast. I know I did.
Oh yeah. So someone was asking a question. I see on her website that she also does spirit releasement. Is she psychic too? Okay, Rob. I don't call myself psychic as as my profession. I'm a trained clinical counseling hypnotherapist, but I do believe we all possess the psychic powers, so one way or another. I'm just not calling myself psychic professionally.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't even know I could see the questions here.
Oh yeah. I was wondering. I was like, "Whoa, what's she looking at?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, she can see them too."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's great. I want to thank everybody who did participate in the chat. We have Debbie, my wife Josie's in there. Rob was in there. He asked a question. Rob, thanks for tuning in tonight. I guess that's it. We're gonna end this here. Kemila, this was great. If you want to stay with me, we'll say our goodbyes after I end the show. I play a little video at the end, and then we'll say our goodbyes after. So don't hang up on me. All right. All right. We have Kemila Zsange, guys. Just one more time, I want to give the website. It is it's CamilaHypnosis.com. I'll throw it on the Facebook page. It's been a great, interesting learning topic of past life regression and hypnotherapy. I know it was a heavy topic. We got into a lot of stuff, but it was fun. I had a great time. So I'm gonna go ahead and play our video, and I want to wish everybody a great night. Real quick, guys, my heart pours out to Ukraine. Really, please, we're all praying, for everybody to get out of there well, and hope everybody finds a way out of there, and hopefully things will be okay for the world and for everybody who's affected by the Ukraine thing going on. I just want to shout that out to everybody, because I'm patriotic, and I hate to see our world at war, and with things like that just breaks my heart. So I just want to shout out to those people who are affected by that, and thank our viewers and listeners for tuning in tonight on the Strange Oddities podcast, and want to wish everybody a great night. So here's our video, and take care, everybody.